Smith leads us to the green flag, and green flag is out here for the Finland Grand Prix. And our pole sitter Jordan Smith gets out to a rocketing start in Karjala, rounding into the first corner. Jordan with an excellent start. Charles Sanford just behind. He had a really good qualifying, which is somewhat surprising for his standards. As Jordan rounding through the first couple of corners here. He's been very strong on the start of these races this season. However, closing with the win has been the biggest issue for basically all of Glacier. The first couple of corners, as I said before, we're blind, high trees, and high Cooper tires. Alright. So far, we're starting to get single file. Jordan Smith is your leader. Dylan Young, who started in the second place position, falls to third. I think that was due to Sanford just getting the better jump. But Jordan pulling away as Sanford trying to reel him in on the first lap. Chris Washer back there in fourth. Doing quite well for himself. Michael Block down there in fifth, trying to chase after these guys. And this is a somewhat of an interesting track. This is the first time a lot of drivers from the DuPont Cup Series from last season, they've never been to this track. However, Jordan Smith and Michael Block, who were before two World Series of Racing full-time drivers, are going to have a big advantage here because they have driven on this track many times before, as you can see right here. But first lap complete. An interesting top five. And we are 3 wide in the back still, as Charles Jackson, who crashed in qualifying, and Matt Duncan slides and he keeps off the wall, and Roberto Sergio into Charles Jackson and Chad Sanner, and Jackson into the wall. That's not a good start. Here is Sean Angel, Jordan Smith's teammate, currently running outside the top 5, but just inside the top 10 at the moment, I believe. And yeah, my calculations are correct. He is he's in 10th place. And the field's actually somewhat sticking together as Sean Angel for Glacier is trying to move through. He was actually the fastest car in first practice, but really kind of fell off as time went on. But he is trying to regain his way through the field, as he's right behind John Citadino, Pollard, and Jordan Davis, my bad. Jeffrey Finguy at somewhat of his home track. He's got descendants from Finland, although I'm not sure if he calls himself completely Finnish, but he's currently running in 35th, battling with Kvistad for 34th with the Swedish sports car driver. And oh boy, Jeffrey Finguy trying to get a good run together here, although he's got a lot of work to do. Yes, he's got Nico Hall right in front of him, along with Ian Dutta. His teammate's not too far ahead, and that is the 62 of James Shelley. Charles Sanford staying in tow with Jordan, not exactly letting him get away. Same thing for Dylan Young and the others, as the top 5 is pulled away, and they are somewhat sticking together, and they're trying to run down the fast Frenchie. Charles Sanford's been somewhat of a breakout driver this season. He's been massively impressive so far. This season staying in the top 10 in points, surprisingly. Something I don't think anyone thought was going to happen. As they are flying through these corners. This is a very, very fast track, and a sports car series will run to this track every single year because it's so fast and perfect for any road course driver. Only the most skilled do well. And it is quite surprising to see Sanford staying with the 80. Chris Washer hanging in the 4th place position. Got Michael Block on his tail, but he is staying with Jordan like the others. That's Tamir DeLeese in the back. Is he trying to catch these guys? That's surprising. But Chris Washer, he's somewhat familiar, not with this track, but with these type of courses, especially since he drives in the Australian Touring Car Series, Australian Touring Car Championship with Fitzwater. And they usually run on these type of courses, although they're somewhat smaller. Karjala is actually somewhat of a decently length track. So Washer, this race is all coming down to experience, and Washer is definitely putting it to the test. Noah Hart running a surprising, well, not really surprising, but a very good 7th place position right now. Tell you what, despite being only running Patriots Trophy this season, the Hart brothers have both been somewhat very quick on these tracks, despite the lack of a real sponsor. I mean, they got Ford on their hood. I mean, well, they got Ford on their side, so they got nothing on the hood. They're just driving Ford Mustangs. Well, Ford Mustang GTs. But Hart is definitely still staying competitive despite the questionable equipment. I mean, this is their equipment from last season, but those cars are a little bit less powerful than these. Than the current ones. Try to wrap your head around that one, but Noah Hart's still staying competitive, trying to extend his all-time wins lead. It's not that big, but he still has the most, and I think he wants to keep it that way for a while. Chris Louviere battling pretty hard with Sean Gallagher for 23rd. Louviere's actually been on the move. He's passed Fitzwater about a lap or two ago, and he also passed, surprisingly, DJ Curtis a few laps ago. So this 14 car's got some speed on it today. It's just outside the points, and Louviere could really use some. It's been a rough season for this 14 cars. They've really have no luck escaping. Well, they've had no luck escaping a lot of issues. But he is hounding the back of the 44, and I don't think Gallagher's feeling very comfortable with the somewhat questionable, questionably skilled driver. But Louviere showing some strength here in the early going. However, Jake Baskinger with Nick Mace are battling for the final points paying position. Jacob Hart's also there as well. Once again, Hart brothers staying competitive. But Baskinger's trying to get a flow going here. He's not doing very well this season so far in terms of points, so he's trying to get Red Bulls. He's trying to get the rest of the Red Bulls going here. I mean, he is the team leader. Him and Finn Guy are. They've been. Well, not Finn Guy. Wow. Baskinger's been the one that's has pretty much taken over this team as the leader, despite not being the best driver. But Baskinger just recently won an Elite Series race, so big applause, a lot of applause for that one coming into this weekend. So nice job to Baskinger. Now if he can just get a DuPont World Series of Racing win, then we'll see where that goes. Lots of cars still sticking together here in the early going. This was kind of like the Decatur race about a while ago, where a lot of cars that were inside the top 10 were battling for spots in the top 10 with drivers that were way outside the top 10, and it's still showing right here. You've got Cavanero battling with, I think that's DeMax, I believe. No, okay, that's DeMax, but it's still a very competitive race, and no one's been able to really break away. So nice job to these guys. They're putting on an excellent show as Pollard battling with Noah Hart. And we got a bit to go. On board with Jourdain Smith as we look behind him, trying to pull away from Sanford, but Sanford's not letting him go. Neither is Dylan Young. These guys are staying together, and I think they will for a while. I think Jourdain might have used up too much of the juice at the start. It is a winding course, and Jourdain Smith looking for his first win of the season. He's had a lot of second-place finishes, and even though he might be the points leader, he's trying to do everything he can to defend that points lead against Charles Sanford. Helicopter camera as we can get some view of the pretty interesting racing going on here. We're following DeMax mostly, but we are trying to get a picture of the other cars. And it's a winding course. Very long winding one. Man. You know, a lot of drivers were very positive about this track, saying that it was a lot of fun to drive on, and they're pushing for a contract extension for next season. So that'd be quite interesting to see if that happens. And I, personally, would not mind that at all. Pit stops begin here. This is a 2 to 3 stop race. There are a couple teams that could try to be gambling for 2. 3 is recommended, but a lot of drivers have claimed that they could probably make it on 2 full tanks of fuel here. Everybody flying into pit road. It's a very fast pit lane. Charles Sanford just left pit road. There goes Michael Block with them as we're looking for Jourdain. There is the 80, and I think Sanford, we can get an actual view of it. I think he might have just taken the lead. So Charles Sanford has taken the lead by a pretty large margin. Sanford's pit crew getting it done for the 24 team, well, for the 24 car. And wow, even Michael Block went right on past Jourdain. So excellent pit stop by the 24 crew. S3 Motorsports definitely coming in with a big agenda this season. They've been a lot faster than before, but they have struggled to get some good finishes. And Sanford trying to lead a possible second win this season. Jourdain all over the back bumper of the 29. These two have had some great duels at this track in years past. And Jourdain almost takes out the 29, but usually usually Smith is not very aggressive, likes to take his time and wait for the driver in front of him to make a mistake. But he is hounding the 29, putting the block. This last name makes a lot of sense, as we have found out in recent years. And Smith getting to the 29, rubs with him there in contact, and Smith goes on by. Jourdain Smith, usually a clean driver, not playing games with the 29, and he barges his way past him. And here comes Pollard and Washer. They skid right by him, and I think they're going to take that with a very happy gesture. And I don't think Block is going to be too appreciative of that move. But the field's sticking together as he's starting to fall through the order. Sean Angel now making an appearance. Alan Cavanero had a dreadful pit stop as he gets loose in the corner. And we got, Fibrosis bumps into the back of him. Fibrosis now with damage. And that was a hairy situation as they're trying to work their way through the corner. Hall with Fibrosis contact again. Everybody playing rough. Hall backs off. And that was a very gentleman move by Nico Hall to get out of the way. He did not want to put his nose where it didn't belong. And Cavanero unintentionally causes damage to the 9 car. So very unfortunate for Fibrosis, who's just outside the top 20. And we've got a car on down pit road. I think that might be Washer. We are being told it was not Chris Washer, but it was indeed Eugene DeMaxiers. So take a look at, Chad Sanner into the 92. And that's a hard crash. And I don't know. I don't think Sanner I don't think the 92 saw the 27 coming. Holy cow. And DeMax now, he's beached in the sand. Take a look at a replay of this again here. And DeMax, he comes out of pit road just fine here. And he didn't see the 27 coming. He turns himself into Chad Sanner. I can't really blame Sanner for that one, because DeMax just dove right left, and Sanner was given room, but the 92 just had none of it. Seth Cole making a move on Michael Block in turn 1 here. And look at DeLeese, he wants to get a piece of the pie. Almost gets into Block. They're trying to get the 29 car out of the way peacefully. Block, I think, might have a problem in the 29 because that car is falling down the order at a very fast rate as they're trying to work his way past him. Seth Cole moves up a position for now. Oh boy. Everyone trying to get past the 29. Jordan Davis, one of them. Baskinger just behind. He had a fantastic pit stop. Went from 21st all the way up to 11th here. And Davis and Block side by side. Jordan Davis is not happy at all. 2 weeks ago, lost in the photo finish to James Shelley at Auto Club. So he has been driving very aggressively in anger, trying to get that Nissan into the top 5. He's fighting hard for it. But Davis left with a bad taste in his mouth, and now I think the field might be having to pay the price for it. Jourdain Smith running down the 24. Not very quickly, but he is at a somewhat decent rate. Sanford at the moment trying to hang on. I think he might be conserving fuel as well, because he should have the fresher tires. However, they might have made a bad adjustment, as Jourdain made an even better adjustment to his car. But he is running him down. Washer's still hanging there in 3rd. Pollard is moving up the order. And if there's one thing we know about Steven Pollard, he comes the heck out of nowhere at the end. That's one of his specialties. And he looks like he might be setting himself up for another Pollard finish. William Duncan trying to get the Team Thunder Brigade going. They've got 4 cars entered into this race, and only one of them is doing inside the top 25, and that's William Duncan, of course, running inside 23rd. Tell you what, it's been William Duncan that's been trying to push this team forward for this entire season so far. He's actually not doing too bad with this equipment. He's been putting this car inside the top 20 on multiple occasions, and that is a very impressive feat. It seems like William Duncan drives a lot better. He looks like he tries a lot harder on the worse equipment. Because even with the best equipment, like when he drove the 99 for a couple seasons, really kind of a struggle to put good runs together over time, but so far he's been doing quite well. So we'll see how Duncan, if he can get inside the top 20 here. As Harbor Motorsports, they're having a really tough day. Ian Dutta just now got into the top 30. So not a good day for Harbor Motorsports. Kind of surprising as they're so close to home. You think they'd be starting to bring in some better engines. They've got Rockingham in a couple of weeks. Well, in about actually like a little over a month. So we'll see how that goes. Pericles was actually inside the top 15 and then a bad pit stop. Upper Motorsports has always had a questionable reputation with their pit crew, and somewhat of a struggle here, but yeah, pit crews are always one of the first to blame, and this is kind of the reason why here. And Sean Galligan now putting it in, Ian Dutta now putting it into pit lane. Pit stops begin once again. Charles Sanford putting the car into pit lane, kind of surprisingly, and Jordan Smith goes on by. Last pit stop is Sanford who went after Jourdain, and now it looks like it's going to be the opposite. I guess Sanford might have pushed the car a little bit too hard, and they're going to have to try and get some fuel and put some tires and fuel in there as we are heading into the final leg of this race. Steven Pollard third into pit lane. Looks like only right side tires. 2 tires for Steven Pollard the third, and he's out of there. Right side tires only for the 81. And Smith is just now heading towards the start and finish line. And Pollard is the leader now. Sanford's gone. Sanford, we're hearing, has fallen to 5th. And there's Smith in the background with Sean Angel closing in behind. What a call. And Pollard puts himself into the lead. They've made a lot of crazy strategies. And they're going for another one here. If this works, he's just got to hold off Smith and Angel for a couple of laps here. So now, Jourdain Smith and Sean Angel battling for second here. Glacier trying to get both cars on the podium here. Look at Angel, he gets the run down on the bottom. Angel gives him plenty of room. Angel took 4 tires. Smith took 4 as well. They are running down this 81 car. Angel made the move, backs out of it. Seth Cole right there in 4th. He wants to make a move on these guys. We have a 3-car battle for second. This is for podium position points. Sean Angel trying to get by his teammate. But Jourdain Smith, he knows he's trying to protect the points lead. Sanford right there behind, trying to run these guys down. He's not very thrilled about that pit stop. Angel hounding the back of his teammate, staying clean, but he really wants to make the move. But Smith is not letting him have it. This is a fantastic battle here. A lot of cars trying to get by Smith to have a crack at Pollard. And with not a lot of time left. Oh boy. Well, this just looks like a buttload of fun. This is the battle for second here. We've got 5 cars up here in the mix. And what has been a fantastic race. Chris Washer up there. Sanford, Seth Cole trying to break apart the Glacier crew. And they know, time's running out. They've got to get Pollard. And this battle is going to allow the 81 car to pull away. Sean Angel might be losing touch with the 80 car now, but these guys are sticking together in what is probably one of the best battles of the season so far. Washer makes the move on Sanford, backs out of it. But this is where it gets pretty hairy. This is where Fibrosis got some hood damage and it get through just fine. But this battle is relentless. Oh, Chris Louviere loses the car into the grass and the snake. The Finnish snake here. Oh, Deanna Shelton hit the 14 and the 14's on its roof. And Louviere gets it back, gets his footing back. And wow, Louviere loses the car in the corner. And that is a tough break for the 14. And now, yeah, it's that bad to where Charles Jackson's now caught him. Battle for 10th also raging on between John Cittadino and Jay Baskinger. And Baskinger's trying to give himself a top 10 run here as he's fighting incredibly hard with these guys. Cittadino, it's a great day for him compared to his Mayota teammate. It's been a tough season for Charles. Well, not really. Tell you what, Mayota's actually been kind of strong this season with Cittadino pretty much dominating the road course market and Charles Jackson pretty much covering up the oval market. So Mayota's been quite surprisingly strong this season. So they're trying to get a top 10 finish with Cittadino, but Baskinger, we'll see if he lets him go, but he's going to fight hard to the end. DJ Curtis at 19, he blows up from 15th. And wow, that is not what that 19 car needed, especially Curtis, who was trying to regain ground in the points to Smith, and that was definitely what Jourdain wanted to hear. And DJ Curtis, tough break. Battle for 5th. Here comes Chris Washer to make a move on Charles Sanford for a top 5. Oh, Washer really could use Washer. I tell you what, he needs this run here. And oh, contact! Sanford making contact with the 5. They're gonna fight hard for this position. I know top 5 would mean a lot to this 5-car team. They really need it. However, Charles Sanford, he's fighting for points. He's gonna lose ground to Jourdain Smith unless something happens, as they've caught Louviere, who's now a lap down. They've managed to get that car back out on the track. I don't know how, but they have. But right now, Sanford loses 5th to Washer. White flag for Stephen Paul III here at Karjala Raceway, and the 2nd through 6th have battled so hard that he's actually pulled away despite the 2-tire strategy. What a call by the Texan Audi team and Pollard. Last season, a lot of people said it might have just been a stroke of maybe destiny because of the hot seat. However, this season, with probably a much more comfortable entry, he won at South Africa earlier this season, and now he's going to win here at Finland if he can just hang on to the car. Unbelievable here. It'll be his 8th win. And you can see the gap is too large. Smith still trying to hang 2nd from Sean Angel here. Oh my goodness. No troubles for Stephen Paul III, and an absolutely unbelievable call, a brilliant call while we're at it, and Stephen Paul III will take the victory here in Finland. And will be the first multi-time winner, wow, of the season. Wow. Pollard scores his 2nd win, first driver to do so this season, and his 8th win in less than 50 races. Unbelievable.